We're back. It's been a couple of weeks because I was actually out of town. I was in Europe for, a while.
Traveling the world,
and now we're back. So sorry if you've missed us, but now we're here forever.
You don't have to miss us anymore.
Yeah. So I'm Super Ty, joined with Comic Book Brando. We're going to be talking about all the cool books coming out tomorrow, which is September 18th. We have a lot of really great books to talk about, including one that Brandon's going to talk about, which I've been waiting for quite some time.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, just put it down in the comment section. We'll answer them lickety-split. So while he's getting that ready, I'm going to start off with Flash Forward. So if you read the Heroes in Crisis series, this is a direct sequel to it, involving Wally West and, what he's going to be up to now. So basically, there's this character that was in another series that was part of the New Age of Heroes. What was his? Whoa! My own voice.
Startled me.
This character who showed up, his name is Tempest Fuggernaut, and he is in charge of everything between dimensions. He's in charge of the space between there, and something is tearing that up, and it's the Dark Multiverse, showed up in Dark Knight's Metal, and he needs a guardian of that, and that is what Wally West doesn't want to do, but Destiny apparently has different orders for him. So it was very cool. I also saw a lot of 90s villains that I never expected to see again. Do you remember Girder?
Yes.
Yeah, he shows up. I was like, oh wow, Girder. So I was very impressed with this. I was kind of wishy-washy when I heard the premise, but I read it and I was like, oh no, wait, this is actually really good. So
where's Tempest Fuggernaut? Is it Clock King?
No. It's this big cosmic deity guy. It's this guy. He was in that book that was about the kid who could zap teleport. Oh my goodness. He kind of looked like Spider-Man, but he was blue.
Oh, yeah.
What was it called? Crap. I'll think of it and I'll remember it in 5 minutes. Yeah.
Batman number 79, The Menace of Magpie. So yeah, Magpie's got some venom.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be a key ingredient to getting Gotham back. Meanwhile, Batman and Catwoman are getting back into fighting shape to reclaim their city. Awesome read. Lots of great moments between these two characters and ongoing sort of debate. A lot of mustaches. It's great stuff. I highly recommend Tom King's Batman run. And this is the crescendo it's building up to. So I hope you're enjoying it as much as I.
The book was called Sideways.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well remembered.
And Quan's letting me know by pulling the book up. Thank you, Quan. My next one is another Year of the Villain one-shot. There was the Riddler one last week, I believe. I don't know, because I was in Spain. Yeah, fancy me.
They don't have comics in Spain?
I did find a comic shop, and I went in there.
Was it normal?
It was about an eighth of the size of ours.
No, was it was the name of the shop normal?
Oh, it was just honestly, it was something comics. I couldn't remember it. But
Something Spanish comics.
Yes. Lex Luthor. So Lex Luthor has evolved into this essentially Super Doom character.
Background music is always playing during our show. Should it always be yeah.
Hey, this band is great. I don't care what anybody says. Super evolved Super Doom Lex Luthor. He is going across the multiverse to confront other versions of himself to see if they are worthy to evolve like he has. So you're going to a multiversal adjunct where it's back in the 50s or far in the future, like Batman Beyond and all this other stuff, and he is now a cosmic judge of himself essentially. It was really wacky and winding. Has some throwbacks to an Alan Moore Superman story, if you know what I'm talking about, which I thought was very cool. So yeah, it was quite trippy.
I like to think he goes back to 90s Lex Luthor and sees him with full red hair.
And beard and
tear rolls down his cheek.
Yeah, dating Supergirl Matrix.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that biz.
James says, "Missed y'all. We're glad to be back." Ruben says, "Hey."
Hey, Ruben.
Hello. House of X number 5. Look at that. There's Apocalypse just stomping through the bayou there. What can I say about this series that isn't already being said a million times over? The very first moments in this book just exploded my brain. And Ty was witness. He saw it happen.
Well, I just see him giggling, and I was like, "Is it bad?" He's like, "It's just so good."
It's so ridiculously
merriment.
good. X-Men, I'm ready. I am so ready for this. Take me on this journey. I'm all about Krakoa. God, it's so good. So yeah, obviously you're gonna get it. Everyone's getting it. Enjoy.
My next one is Absolute Carnage #3 by our friend Donnie and Ryan Stegman. So it's not going well for anybody. Everybody's having a really rough time because Carnage is getting the codexes, or codexes, I believe is the correct plural of it.
Codicil.
Codice? I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm tired.
It's not Codicil.
Although, cool band name. So, the codex in every person is the, like, remnants of a symbiote that was in them. So if you ever had a symbiote on you, you have a little part of it inside your spinal column. So, in the last issue, if you read that, you totally ripped out part of the Scorpion's spine to get his, because he was Venom for a while. Anyways, bad time for everybody. It's a straight-up horror story. I love it. It's been really fun. The only book that you should be reading to, like, fill in missing gaps that are, like, super important is just the Venom series, but all the other tie-ins have been really cool, like the Miles Morales, the Scream, all those, like, other, like, Separation Anxiety and the, you know, Heroes for Hire one. They've all been really good, and, like, I'll be honest, I was never a huge Venom or Carnage fan growing up. I was like, alright, you know, cool, whatever. But reading this, it actually makes it a cool story because it's a horror story, as it should be.
Fortunately, Donnie was a big Venom and Carnage
Yes,
fan.
I mean, I'm not trying to bag on it. If anybody else really likes it, that's great. I'm now a fan. I've been converted. So, like, that's the testament of this book, is it actually made me a fan.
It's his lifelong fandom that's, like, paying off.
Yeah.
And that's about a lot of Donnie's books, is he takes the things he absolutely loved about these characters and, like, makes it, I don't know, like, revitalizes them with that information.
Exactly. And so, like, I've been converted over into a Venom and Carnage fan now. That's how good this book is.
Terry says an interesting what if. If you were to go back on previous episode here, what title or issue would you wish you would have shared?
Oh, man. Like, from all time?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, sure.
Oh.
There's this new book. A new guy in a Hulk book called Wolverine. Check him out.
I
was not born yet.
I wish I was working here at the time. There was this amazing book called Danger Club, which is kind of a deconstruction of the superhero genre, kind of like Brat Pack, which I really wish more people read because it was freaking amazing and, like, way darker than a sidekick book should be.
I think most of these people haven't read Brat Pack.
Okay, well,
you should check out Brat Pack.
You should also check out Brat Pack. Yeah, like, because Rick Veitch is a crazy awesome writer.
He's a madman, and he was very mad at a certain publisher.
Yeah, I mean, usually the way I get through books is, like, when people ask me while they're here, I'm just like, oh, and you should check this out, and I'll just scan the shelves, be like, oh, and this one. So, like, usually that's how it works for me.
I don't know if I've ever really missed out on anything I really thought. Miracle Man I jumped into way late. Not Miracle Man, Vision. Miracle Man I was on board. Vision, when it first came out, I was like, I don't like that character, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I wasn't completely on the Tom King bandwagon yet. So,
yeah.
That's probably the one that I wish I would have talked about, because I did not care about Vision. But that book is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I try anything. I try any book once, and, if I really like it, I will, be the street preacher for it for as much as I can. But what about you guys? Put it down in here. Let's find out what other people think,
Sold Terry on Brat Pack.
Yeah.
My turn. Step aside, Superman. It's Superboy we want for the Legion of Superheroes. I am a big Legion of Superheroes fan. I have not always been, but again, going through a lot of those 70s issues when I was grading them, I'm like, this is amazing. This is so good. I always wrote it off as, there's too many characters, they all have different powers. I don't like it. I'm just going to read X-Men.
Yeah.
Ironically. Timberwolf, that dude's a Wolverine ripoff. Ha. Yeah. So, Legion of Superheroes is great. It's a lot of fun, and they're back. Bendis is, like, heading up the charge, bringing these beloved Silver Age characters into modern times. We've got sort of like, I mean, you could tell just looking at like the entire team how classic it is, but also it has that Ryan Sook redesign that I'm really enjoying.
I see Bouncing Boy, which I'm always happy about.
Bouncing Boy's there. There's a couple like jokes that like Timberwolf actually has a moment here that made me laugh a lot. So super good, super fun. It's the conclusion of a big storyline, and the Legion shows up for the most momentous occasion in galactic history.
Whoa!
Only they sort of step on it a little bit. Super fun. Even if you haven't been reading Superman, you can pick it up and get excited about the Legion stuff. So there you go.
Terry says that we rock. No, Terry, you rock.
Thank you for watching.
My next one, Valkyrie, number 3. So, Al Ewing and Jason Aaron writing Jane Foster being the sole remaining Valkyrie. It's amazing. Unfortunately, Heimdall has died at the hands of Bullseye, of all people. And, you know, if you're an all-seeing god that can just has seen everything, he doesn't want to go to Valhalla. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He wants to go to a place he's never been before, or never seen before. So how does a Valkyrie, whose main job is to ferry heroes to the afterlife, how do you do that? So you'd be surprised. It was really cool. There's some Fraser Irving art in here, which I'm a huge fan of Fraser Irving. He has this really awesome digital painting style that I'm not going to show you guys because you should be picking this up and reading it. But yeah, this book is so great. It's so awesome. Also, you find out that flying horses can talk.
Heimdall looks a little bit like Warren Ellis.
On
Purpose? Guardians of the Galaxy number 9, continuing the current storyline, also by Donnie Cates, Corey Smith art. Beautiful book, awesome. So the Guardians, with the exception of Groot, Moondragon, and Rocket, are all captured by the Patriarch, who you may know is Star-Lord's father.
Yeah.
They have an intense mission that is requiring basically siphoning a lot of life. Huge things happen in this issue. It's so hard to describe. But yeah, basically we're seeing the end of the Earth as a result of if the Patriarch does not make this happen. But his plan is also kind of insane and will require yet another person very famous to Guardians lore. Check it out. It's a lot of good. It's cosmic. It's great. There's a dog.
Cosmo. I love him.
Only he is also possessed by the church, so things are not good.
Yeah.
Really cool storyline, and I hope you're digging it.
So this is another book that I was kind of like, yeah, I'll give this a shot. Black Panther and Agents of Wakanda. So Black Panther decides that, yeah, you know, he's the chairman of the Avengers right now, and, you know, he has all that, you know, mightiest heroes at his disposal to save the day, but he also needs some Black Ops stuff, and so he gets a lot of very random characters that are all great. You got Kazar, you got Okoye, Gorilla Man, which
Classic.
I'm a huge fan of. You got the Wasp. You also got, I don't know if you remember from Jason Aaron's X-Men or Wolverine and the X-Men book, Brood, the little brood alien that's super smart and lovely.
That's fine.
He's in this too. Also, Man-Wolf, J. Jonah Jameson III, which I was also very happy about.
Is J. Jonah Jameson's first name John?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, well, it says John Jameson III, so, you know, I'm going to assume J. Jonah Jameson's first name is John. Anyways, so they discover that there is this town that has no life whatsoever in it. There's no animals, there's no people, there's no, like, breeze. It's just, like, still. And they get there, and there's all these demons that attack. Oh, also Fat Cobra from Iron Fist is in here, too, and I love that character.
Also in that Jason Aaron storyline.
Exactly. So this is way cool. It's like superhero Black Ops. The last page is a very big reveal at what's going on and who's at fault here, and they're all dangerously unprepared for it. Do you want to see what it is? Or?
Sure.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
yeah. So cool.
I like Fat Cobra's response to that too. Terry's on fire, commenting like mad.
Thank you, Terry.
Going for that top fan rank. Inferior 5. So this is a really interesting sort of a split book with Jeff Lemire and Keith Giffen. Lemire and Giffen both work on the Inferior 5 storyline, both plotting with Giffen art, and then Jeff Lemire writes and draws the Peacemaker storyline. So Peacemaker is an old Charlton character that the comedian from Watchmen was based on. And these are both stories that take place following the invasion, which was a big 80s DC crossover.
Yeah.
Which just threw me for a huge loop. I was like, okay, we have a sequel to a little 30-year-old storyline. All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
The Inferior 5, there are characters similar to the jokey 60s Inferior 5, but it's a very different, weird, macabre horror-like story. So, all right, I'm into that. And Peacemaker's story has him seeking out a secret weapon left by the Dominators from the invasion storyline, which is going to tie in with the Inferior 5 story. So we're going to have like a culmination there. But it's very weird. It's very cool. I love both of those creators. I'm super interested in where they go with it. I got to say that this issue has me going, but if you like something a little bit different with ties to the past, there you go.
Nick says that there's only one top fan, and you're right, it's my mom. I don't think my mom's ever watched this show before.
I don't think she qualifies.
My next one is One in Future number 2. So after the crazy first issue, it turns out that there's a big group of white supremacists trying to resurrect King Arthur using Excalibur. Yeah.
Bad plan.
So, it gets better. There's a guy who's just a stumbling librarian type character who gets a call from his grandma who's at a retirement home. She's like, oh, come by and see me. And he does, and she kidnaps him like at gunpoint, and it turns out she's a giant monster hunter. So like everything crazy is happening in this, and she's trying to stop King Arthur from coming back. So that's the premise of it if you haven't read this yet. It just gets weirder and wackier in this, and that's what I liked a lot. If you liked anything like Wicked and Divine or Die, it's written by Kieran Gillen, that writer. So you know it's going to be a good story. It's going to have a lot of like twists and turns that you're not expecting.
Didn't the first issue already have like 3 printings?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
It's like so crazy
It came out
popular.
4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
super great.
Multiple prints of the first issue before the second even came out.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Super good book. I loved it. There's parts where you chuckle. There's also gross parts. So
I love Kieran Gillen, so yeah, I'm all over that.
Yeah.
I remember even a couple weeks ago asking, I think it was Trevor, was like, is this good? He's like, yeah, it's amazing.
yeah, it's really good.
Wild. G.I. Joe #1. A whole new era for Joe. So if this ain't your dad's G.I. Joe, is basically my elevator pitch for it. But yeah, it's absolutely the case. Cobra has taken over America. Cobra is in charge. And G.I. Joe is basically like a small group of freedom fighters tasked by the American government to try to get it back. Only things are not going so well for them. We've got all new Joes, we got a couple classic Cobras in here, and just a whole new take on the mythos. So I kind of picked it up going, yeah, I'll give it a look. But I'm interested. I'm on board. Yeah, let me hold it up like that.
Well, yeah, where people can see it.
There you go. Yeah, very intriguing, very different, and a little bit more with the times, we'll say. So yeah, give this one a read. Check it out.
It's on my pull list.
Cobra.
I'm super stoked about it.
Cobra still jerks, by the way.
Cobra.
Cobra?
Cobra! Oh man, that was bad.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna go for it. I was like, let me back out of it.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna attempt it. Anyway, my last single issue is a book I've been looking forward for a while. It's also very creepy looking. It's called Are Obsolete. So I know what's going to be happening in this book a little bit because, I've read, like, preview issues of this and stuff. Basically, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. Basically, this writer, she said something bad once. And in this world, if you say one bad thing, it could ruin your career. And it happened to her. Then she gets a text message or an email that says, hey, you're never going to work in the business you want to again, but we are willing to give you a job doing the same thing on this tiny island in Estonia. And she's like, sure, why not? And she gets there, and everybody's super happy and smiling all the time. And they're just like, oh, yes, the children take care of us. And they're all smiling creepily, and they're all, like, on edge. Do you remember that Twilight Zone episode? Yeah, like that. Or Children of the Damned or something like that.
It's like a cross between Wicker Man and that episode of the Twilight.
Yeah, so but they're just like, oh, the children, you know, don't tell them I wasn't smiling a minute ago, and you're just, yeah, and you're just kind of like, all right. So it's very unsettling. I know what the premise is happening here, and like, but you should find it out for yourself because this is really well written. The art's very impressive. It's also super creepy, and it takes a lot for me to get creeped out by a comic. And this one, I was just like, so yeah, I'm very impressed with this first issue.
Nick loves that GoBots crossover. Did Joe ever crossover with GoBots?
No, they did with Transformers. That was by Tom Scioli. Now, Tom Scioli also did a GoBots book,
which I was going to suggest.
Which was also great.
It's so good. It's weird questions of religion.
Oh, well, in the G.I. Joe versus Transformers one, like, huge main characters die horribly and humorously at the same time. It's just like, oh man, Optimus Prime sat on Snake Eyes. And, like, he's dead now.
Is that really how they did it in Snake Eyes?
No, it was some other character. I just pulled.
It's like, that's a pretty major character.
No, but all like big major characters die horribly in it. It was great. But yeah. Anyways, what's your next?
GoBots was also really good too. Scooter's on the cover though. Oh, look at you. Okay,
that's good. That's good. Yeah, Nick, you got me on that one.
Didn't see that coming. Who shot the decoy corpse of Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen? What a mystery. Man, Matt Fraction's Jimmy Olsen stuff has been great. It's almost like a whole series of small stories that are, or short stories that are all interconnected to be one giant ongoing tale between, you've got Jimmy Olsen, you've got Lex Luthor involved, a little bit of Lois Lane in there. Super fun, super wild. I love the whole style of it. It's just one of my favorite things. Steve Lieber's artwork is great. He was always fun on what was the crime one that they just did?
Crap.
God, I'm blanking on the Archie stuff.
Oh,
they did the Archie, but like I love the book. I can't remember the name of it because I blank on
it. Was it a hard case crime book?
No, it was the one of the two cops that you find out in the first issue they're actually robbers. And then one of them.
Oh, The Fix?
Yeah, The Fix. That's what it was. And great art, super fun, highly recommended.
I wasn't sure if it was that one because you love that book.
I know. I was just blanking on the name.
My next one is Uncanny XMen: Wolverine and Cyclops Volume 2. So this is what leads up to House of X and Powers of 10. All of those. It's dark. You really think people are like, you know, dead and gone for good. It is like X-Men nihilism, essentially. They're like, we're the only people left because all the other X-Men are in the Age of X-Man story going on. A lot of moving parts here, but the remaining X-Men are just like, well, we're not going to live that long. Might as well take out everybody that's a threat to the world. Just say, screw it. We have a list. We're going to take them all out. I really enjoyed it. It was some of the best X-Men stuff I've read until I read House of X and Powers of 10. It really brought me back a whole lot. It was great and dark. My goodness.
Assassination by Kyle Starks and Erica Henderson. Henderson, who is from Squirrel Girl, and I was not ready to draw a book of assassins basically just killing the hell out of each other. But it so fits, it's so good. She's a fantastic artist for this kind of book, and just shattered my expectations. Kyle Starks, who has written some Rick and Morty comics, and did that Big Rock Mountain, or Rock Candy Mountain.
Yeah, and Sex Castle.
Castle. He's done so much, and they are a twisted, creative pair. I love it. The former world's greatest killer is now a crime boss, and there's an assassination attempt on his life. So he gets the 20 best assassins to basically be his bodyguards, which is a good idea / bad idea. Because there's a lot of big egos, a lot of big personalities, and a couple big names.
What are the best named characters of 2019?
I absolutely love the chaos and insanity of this book. Don't get attached to any of the characters because a lot of them die very quickly. Super fun, super violent, and definitely strayed from Squirrel Girl quite a bit, but into material I'm more used to enjoying.
My next one is Swing #2. Volume 1 came out, I think earlier this year. I think January, February. It's about a couple, it's a sequel, not a sequel, a spin-off to Sunstone, if you're a fan of that, series, because some of the main characters in this were side characters in Sunstone. It's about a married couple that they decide to just, explore their definitions of love and boundaries. Definitely not for children. There's a lot of stuff happening in there. Yes, I'm an adult. Really great art by what's her name?
Well, they used to call it on Newlywed Game Whoopi.
Yeah, there's a lot of Whoopi.
It's the strangest place you've ever made Whoopi.
Graphic Whoopi happening in this,
Graphic.
which is also a great band name or rapper name. So yeah, if you like Sunstone, if you are into that new kind of exploratory erotica fiction that's been coming out recently, like Sunstone and stuff like that.
Just recently, though.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Anyways, check it out. It's by Matt Hawkins, who is one of my favorite writers, and Yishan Lee, she does the art, as well as Linda Sedgwick. So check it out.
I just wanted to put you on the spot, make you blush.
Well, that's, graphic Whoopi for you.
Graphic Whoopi. The Woman Who Loved Life and Other Stories. So Johnny Craig was one of the breakout artists of EC Comics, which included all the greatest comic artists of the 20th century, or most of them at least. So you've got crime stories. He actually did EC's first horror story and only superhero story, Moon Girl, and it's all in here. There's some great stuff. I love EC Comics. I love Johnny Craig. These are beautiful black and white collections of just some of the best comics of the 50s. Comics so good that they basically got comics shut down for the most part.
My next one is a story that was almost a decade in the making. This is Umbrella Academy Hotel Oblivion, Volume 3. I was waiting for this, golly, I think I was still in college when Dallas came out. It was a while, and they were always... What?
How long ago?
It was a long time ago. But, man, it's great. I will be the first to admit, I am not a fan of Gerard Way's music, but his comics are amazing. And they always teased that this would come out, and this kind of became the thing of just sure, whatever. It was almost like Planetary number 25. Yeah, sure, it'll come out one day. And it actually did. And it's awesome and weird and crazy. There's interdimensional space travel. There's a dude with a normal head but a Martian monkey body. It's crazy. So if you haven't read any Umbrella Academy, you should definitely pick it up.
And we apologize to all the 25-year-old girls who just turned off the channel when he said he didn't like his music.
I am honest before anything else.
Guts by Raina Telgemeier. She is just the most superstar comic creator who has her books in every market. She's so good, and it's this has become the book series that I recommend to new comic book readers,
yeah.
Or in that sort of younger set age. It started with Smile and their sisters and Drama and Ghost, and Guts continues the Smile and Sister storyline.
Right.
So, just going to school. However, her and her mom both have upset stomachs at the same time.
Tummy troubles.
Tummy troubles. And they both kind of blow it off as a bug, but the troubles persist. So give this one a read, share this one with the family. Like I said, all ages appropriate. Good stuff.
My last one is Headlopper Volume 3. Now, if you like fun, crazy, violent fantasy...
Not for the whole family.
This is really awesome. So it's not a clever name. The main character is a guy who lops the heads off of everything, and he carries around this immortal witch's head. Now, the problem is they don't know their own origins. So the whole point of this is them trying to discover their own origin, what is happening with both of them. They come across this town called Venora, and something's wrong there. And there's this giant egg in the middle of the city, and it's starting to hatch. And it's going to be some kind of crazy doomsday god. Who knows? But yeah, really awesome artwork. It's very reminiscent of... I don't know how to describe this. I mean, I love it. It's just, I can't really think of another artist that does a style like this, where it's kind of cartoony, kind of not.
Sort of reminds me of Orkstein and Prison Pit. And
Yeah,
like
there
some
you
of
go.
that cool, like, these are all books and artists that were heavily influenced by, let's call it, Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
Like,
Good way to put it.
Awesome, barbarian, cool, sort of fantasy, sort of sci-fi, best of both worlds, but like, you know, not really completely comprehensible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thank Masters of the Universe so much for like influencing some of the coolest, weirdest comics I've ever read.
Motu, man.
Yeah.
This is a book that I've been waiting for forever.
I also have been waiting a long, long time because they've not had this in a collection since like the hardcovers that came out like in
Forever ago.
like the 90s or early 2000s. It was a long time ago. And we even haven't had them in stock. We had them in stock for a long time, but we haven't had them in stock for the past year or so. But now you can read about the Flaming Carrot in Flaming Carrot Comics Volume 1. Bob Burton's crazy, surreal, hilarious, weird series that gave us the Mystery Men, which you later saw in the movie, if you were around in the late 80s, early 90s. There was a lot of Turtles crossovers. There's like, it was an indie comics like
Amalgam.
like apex, you know, like a sort of crossover universe. And so you'd see a little bit of everything in there, but almost everything was like just so Burton, it was crazy. The little blurb on the back is so good. This to me sells it in the book. It's about a sort of barely verbal guy who has a big flaming carrot for a head and wears flippers.
Yeah, swimming flippers.
Check out the comic book series that for many years most people believed to be nothing more than a ridiculous legend or an amusing joke. And that is absolutely what I thought, because I did not have access to Flaming Carrot comics. I would see someone wear the t-shirt, like on TV.
Yeah.
David from Roseanne,
Yeah.
I think, wore a shirt like that. I'm like, what is that comic? I want to get my hands on that.
Yeah.
It can't be a real thing. It's a real thing. I've read it. It's hilarious.
Okay, let's talk about a couple of things coming up. October 11th, we are having the Staple Pre-Party. We are sponsoring a movie, not really sponsoring a movie. What are we, like, how would you put it?
Well, yeah, we're sponsoring.
We're sponsoring.
It's a movie called Fast Color. It's at the AFS Cinema. It's going to be this Saturday and Monday, 21st and 23rd. Saturday showing is at 2:30, and artist Kate Zellers will be there giving a talk about creating in comics and her art.
Yeah.
And then the 23rd, I believe, is at 7 o'clock p.m. So
It is.
Yes, we're going to post a link about it sometime, probably tomorrow, on our Facebook and Twitter and all that. But you can ask us about it for details if you like. It's about a sort of like it's basically like an indie superhero story, but kind of with heart and a different kind of hero story.
Nice. What do you got going on? Do you have anything going on? It's cool if you don't.
So we've been drafting on Fridays at Al-Lamin, drafting the Magic the Gathering, I believe. No, we'll be drafting this weekend, this Friday. Next weekend is the pre-release for the new Throne of Eldraine expansion, which is based off of fairy tales and Arthurian legend.
That's cool.
There's a great trailer for the new set starring a gingerbread man and woman. And
Cool.
It has the song I Love You, Baby.
Yeah.
What's going on? That one. Super hilarious and crazy and jaw-dropping. I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it. It'll get you excited for gingerbread men in the next series. I am all about the new gingerbread men.
Cool. No, I'm not laughing at it. That's cool. I think
true.
it's fun. Laser Tusk is still working on her second album. We're playing on the 28th of this month down in San Marcos. So if anybody lives down there, we'll be playing at the Kiva Lounge at 10 o'clock on the 28th. It's apparently somebody's album release party.
Dan's all excited about the Flaming Carrot.
Yeah.
Yes. Fortune favors the bold.
But that's pretty much all I got. I'm glad to be back from my vacation. It was really fun,
It's
but
good to have
I
you
missed
back.
everybody. So,
We missed you.
oh, thanks, man.
We didn't get you a cake when you came back, right?
It's all good. I ate so much food while I was there. It's awesome.
Yeah, all rich, fancy European food.
Yeah, it was
Like
great.
McDonald's.
No, man, I love seafood if it's by the sea. I don't trust Gulf, Texas Gulf seafood.
No, that's sea.
Anyways,
Sorry, both 25-year-old women and people who live near
an
the
old
Gulf.
fisherman, stevedores of the Gulf. So, do you got anything else?
That's all.
Cool. Well, you can follow me at Super Ty Denton 1. You can follow you at.
Comic Book Brando.
You can follow both of us at Austin Books, and we will see you tomorrow morning.
Or the afternoon.
Or whenever you want to come by.
In the evening.
Come by early.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Whenever.
Sure.